105.5.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
Maura and Ross.
More fallout from Harry and Meghan's interview in this BBC Minute.
Prince Harry's brother William has said Britain's royals are
Very much not a racist family.
It comes after allegations made in the couple's Oprah interview that a family member questions their unborn baby's skin colour.
Nigeria now, and we're reading reports that gunmen have killed 13 people in an attack on a school in the northwest of the country. Witnesses say armed men arrived on motorbikes and opened fire.
A court in Pakistan has ordered the authorities to ban TikTok. It's due to what it describes as immoral content on the platform. No word yet on how the app plans to respond.
Myanmar's military authorities have accused ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi of accepting an illegal payment. It comes as more protesters against their takeover have been shot dead.
And EA Sports is investigating allegations its employees are selling rare FIFA player cards.
Such actions would give gamers an unfair advantage in the lucrative Ultimate Team mode.
1329G, BBC Minutes.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, it's good to have you join us this afternoon on Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Welcome to the program. Okay, it is the 11th day in the month of March 2021. How's the day been for you? I hope it has been good. Okay, if it has been, so it's same here, okay? And essentially, it is to set agenda. You understand what we're talking about. And it is also to expose us to, things that we ought to know about and use those things to, plan our lives or design our lives in case you like to, just have a grip on life. And let's do that business. Michael Olatunbosun is the name. Okay, in the last couple of days, I've been talking about the farmers' herders crisis, or if you like, the incursions of the herders on the Nigerian space. Because you have, attacks by, herdsmen on farms and farmers across the country. You remember the Benue episode, you remember the Oyo State episode here, you remember the Ekiti, Ondo, and this has become, is a preponderance of, crisis between herdsmen and farmers. I remember also I told the story of my engagement with farmers on their experiences with herdsmen, particularly farmers from Ibarapa area in Oyo State here. So you have Igangan, Ayete, you have Lanlate, you have Igbora, you even have Fedegbo, somewhere very close to Benin Republic, I am told. I've heard this all, across, media in the last couple of days. I also know that a lot of people have been saying, is this how we're going to be continuing, to have a cycle of violence, crisis, and the rest of it? And I also, raised this question on social media. I was posting very recently about this question. And my own question is, you see, whether we like it or not, both the aggressor and the victim are also, both of them are victims. And everybody, all of us are casualties of these crises, one way or the other. Remember the poem, The Casualties by J.P. Clark. You see, that poem basically pictures the Nigerian situation. So even those who are described as the aggressors are also casualties in the total mix of the Nigerian state. So criticisms have come from left, right, and center as also about the government's handling of the situation. And by government's handling of the situation, I'm also talking about both the federal and state governments. So we're going to look at this matter from a professional perspective to solutions. And that's basically the whole idea behind it. And not just the farmers' herders crisis, really. We're talking about crisis, whether it's farmers' herders, whether it's banditry or terrorism, whatever it is still a crime, whether you like it or not. I'm seeing debates of some characters saying that you should not describe some people as bandits or terrorists or whatever it is. The bottom line is, if there is no peace in the nation, there cannot be progress and development. And we are a nation that has also joined the rest of the world to say we are on course for the 2020 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And if you like, you can also add the African tilt to it. The way to development, they call it Agenda 2063 or something of that sort. But I'd rather say that whether it is 2063 or 2030, the whole idea is to make peace reign. So peace for the people, for the planet, and also for every other body that you have around you, both on land and under water and the rest of it. So the farmers' herders crisis. For today, the professional perspectives to solutions. That's the key matter on the table. My guest is in the house. Let me bring my guest to the microphone immediately. He is the Executive Director and CEO of Whitegate Initiative for Peace and Dispute Resolution. He's a chartered mediator and conciliator and member, Society for Peace Studies and Practice. Ambassador Adebobola Omo. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
And of course, you're not new on this program. But you see, something that fascinates me about you is your perspective to, nation building and peace building. So I thought we should have this conversation. We have been lamenting about problems, we have been talking about the crisis and the rest of it. I'd like you to crystallize for us. For me, one of the big questions I raised when I moderated the session at the JDPC over a week now was, do we really have a perfect or near perfect understanding of the problem? Do we?
I don't think we do. I don't think state actors have a full grasp of the extent or how deep certain or the issues are, because basically we are more of a reactionary than being there to prevent. And so mostly these conflicts are being touched after they have escalated, after crisis has emerged. That is when they touch the conflict. And so what they would probably or mostly be dealing with would just be conflicts on the surface and not within.
On the surface. So we're just reacting rather than being proactive and also making sure that some situations don't arise. Okay. You mentioned state actors.
Yes.
I'd like to ask the question. In all the elements in the crisis situation across the country, why did you single out state actors?
Okay, thank you. In every conflict, there must be a conflict analysis that is drawn. A conflict analysis must be drawn. And when you look at this particular case, you have to be able to talk about the parties involved. And basically, I'll mention the parties involved in the conflict because you must single out the parties involved. We have the farmers, the headsmen,
Okay.
villagers, the state governments, and the cow owners. Those are basically the parties involved. Now, talking about the state actors, or why I singled out the state actors, is because the ultimate power to bring about an enforceable law, or whatever it is to stem the tide and bring down the crisis, rests in the hands of the states. And so they are the ones that must be the rallying point, even if other parties will do anything to bring about peace. The state has a greater force, and that's why I singled out the state.
The governors in each state in the country, particularly those in the southwest, have been playing helpless. I'll give you a scenario. On that program, I had a member of the Oyo State House of Assembly, who is the chairman of the Committee on Security.
Okay.
He lamented about the fact that the Antiopen Corps has not been very potent, because the federal government, has a hold on, how far they can operate. So it says that, number one, the police have not, really done justice to the situation. And the police is under the control of the federal government. It says that the custom and immigration who man the borders have been rather, negligent in terms of the inflow. So the custom and immigration are within the control of the federal government. So you see that the states are helpless, isn't it?
Well, let me shed more light on this conflict,
Okay.
so that people may get a better perspective. You see, analyzing this conflict, we must understand after mentioning the parties involved, we must understand the causes of this conflict. And in three different parts. They are basically resource-based, perception-based, and value-based. Resource-based in the sense that an ample amount of these headers come, and on their own part, the resource which they need or they want are these farmlands, access to water and all that. On the part of the farmers, of the villagers, what is their own resource? The resources are the farmlands, their own settlements where they call home. And so there is this clash of resources. On the sides of the farmers and the villagers, they want to protect what is theirs. On the side of the herders, they want something to make sure that their cows are okay, because their lives are built around that. That is that is the resource-based conflict. Now, the value-based conflict is the fact that the thinking of the average nomad, that they have to move their cattle from place to place to be able to get adequate food, water, to be able to make their cows or cattle fit. And so they have that mindset. It's a mindset thing that they have to move from place to place. And so anything that will stop them from moving becomes a problem for them. So the value-based aspect is there. And then the perception. The perception which nothing has been done to change, is the fact that on the parts of the farmers, villagers, or people generally, the term herdsmen connotes something dangerous, something bad. They have that perception that once these people come, they are coming to perpetrate evil, cause havoc and all that. And on the part of the herdsmen, they feel all eyes are on them. They are stigmatized. And so both of them are already combat ready, on a combat posture. And each time they come in contact with each other, a clash will definitely occur.
Should it not bother us that we have, the Antiopen grazing law in many states in Nigeria, particularly in the southern, down south? Should it not bother you that the herdsmen, based on your analysis now, the value-based analysis, they want to keep, moving around and the rest of it. Should it not bother you that all the stakeholders are not talking about this element? And that's the element of the erosion of the grazing routes. Because I have listened to, debates on this matter. The herdsmen are still insisting that they want to keep having their grazing routes. So, but you see, based on the fact that, society has expanded, there has been, development, there have been more population and the rest of it, that some places would have been closed and would have been converted to farmlands. So these people still want to have it in 2021.
Thank you, sir. Particularly, that is one of the many things that they've not looked into before coming with a solution or providing a solution to this crisis. What you just mentioned is something that most people don't know, because in the early independence period in Nigeria, grazing routes were created when livestock was so important to the national economy. It still is. But then the government actually had a hand in it. And so grazing routes were created. Now, when we look at these people, we see them as stark illiterates. However, in the trade of cattle rearing and all that, it is their business, it's their trade.
So they have the map in their head.
That is the thing. They pass these things from generations to generations. And so places that have become farmlands, settlements and all that, are places they still see as grazing routes. That is one. Another shocking revelation is that when these people at some point in time, back then, were moving, they are a moving population as nomads. When they moved from place to place, there were some places where they got to where they intermarried, one. They gave cows to village heads, and in exchange, they were given lands, they were given settlements. But you see, because they are a moving population, at some point in time, they leave that place to another place, hoping to come back another time as a place that had been given to them, in exchange for cows and all that. So they go, and sometimes long after the person who ceded the land to them must have gone, or the person who even collected the land must have gone. But, because they have their indigenous ways of storing their own information or passing it down from generation to generation, then at some point in time, they get back to those places, and then they want to claim ownership of those places after a long period of time. And so people cannot fathom that somebody is coming and saying this is our place. And so you would see that on that part too, a clash or clashes occur. But where we seem to have a problem is that these grazing routes that have been, that they still take as places to move about. And the fact that the government has, or different state governments have come up with open grazing. The problem is, are these laws enforceable? In the sense that if we are saying that we want to stop open grazing, then there must be something to make sure that this thing does not continue, this grazing does not continue. Will you either confine them to a place? If you are not going to confine them to a place, then will you rather let them move about? So that is where I think the problem is. On one hand, saying you don't want this. On another hand, not being able to come up with something to enforce that law which you have put down.
That's a very fundamental thing. That's a very fundamental, perspective. But I still want to stay on this matter.
Okay.
So what beats me about the matter is that I know that if all parties in a conflict are not agreeing on fundamentals, you cannot find a solution to the crisis.
No, you can't.
And one of those fundamentals is the fact that I believe I've had interactions with people who, also have an understanding of this matter. I believe that the state actors are not doing enough to actively engage all the parties in the crisis. We will address this matter when I come back from this break. It's still Talking Points on Splash FM here in the city of Ibadan. Please don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
She's the angel of my life. I dey call her superwoman. She know they take my matter play. Oh. She's the queen of my heart. She's deserving a crown. Show my
Every day with mom's love is Mother's Day. Let's celebrate and appreciate her. Happy Mother's Day. 3 Crowns Milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
You see that your cousin will not dey carry last for food matter? And that your niece will not like to chop better thing.
No, I know the shop am.
What about your uncle? We not get shame. And that your guy will always like drink the last Coca-Cola. We sabi them. But without them, food not is sweet. Coca-Cola and food together tastes better.
Taste the feeling.
Capture your world in stunning detail with the new Nokia 5.4. With a powerful 48MP quad camera and advanced video recording, giving you total creative control. Its generous 2-day battery life means your phone is there for you and your family when you need it most. Whether it's for work or play, you can see more on the 6.39 HD Plus screen. Nokia smartphones. Trusted, always secure, and built to last.
Do you know you can study in Hungary and Cyprus with ease?
Yes. The representative of Istvan University in Hungary and European University of Levsk in North Cyprus are at your beck and call here in Ibadan, Nigeria.
These schools are in partnership with the Edu Consort of Ruscon Travels and Tours Limited. And over the years, several students have gained admission and visa to study and get their degree by leveraging on this partnership. Ruscon Travels and Tours Limited is your link to study in Istvan University in Hungary and North Cyprus European University of Levsk.
2 world-class universities with campuses located in a serene and friendly environment. You pay 0 deposit and service charge until your visa is secured. For more inquiries, call 0816-932-9152. Again, 0816-932-9152.
Our office is at number 53 MKO Abiola Way, Ajegbe Bus Stop, Ring Road, Ibadan, Oyo State. On Facebook and Instagram at Ruscon Travels NG, Ruscon Travels and Tours. All right, let's go to Hungary and Cyprus for qualitative education.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Ibadan! 9 Mobile 4G LTE has landed and we are in for the time of our lives. Streaming matches will never be the same. Video calls will be clearer than ever. Work will be so smooth, it won't feel like work. That's smooth.
Yes, Ibadan! Enjoy browsing with quality 4G LTE on 9 mobile data plans. Get 2 GB plus free access to social media for 500 naira. 7 GB plus free access to social media for 1,500 naira and 3.5 GB free data for night streaming on select monthly data plans of 1,000 naira and above. Dial *200*3*1# to get started. T's & C's apply. 9 Mobile.
When we say the new Maltina pineapple and vanilla taste like adventure, here's what we mean. You get up like an action hero. Check yourself out in the mirror. And then, in slow-mo, you grab a chilled bottle of Maltina pineapple or Maltina vanilla and enjoy the tastespiration.
Own the flavor with the new Maltina Vanilla Pineapple O Classic and let the tastespiration fill you. Maltina. Share happiness.
1960 bets don't return with big FCO as they don't arrange new management. They don't come back better and stronger. Then they pay commission to their agents' bank accounts and winnings to their customers. Sharply. No delay. You can do football to virtual games plus live bet jackpot for inside 1960 bets. Visit their website on top www.1960bets.com. 1960 bets. Play and win.
Àdùkẹ́dùkẹ́ káàárọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ mi ṣé dáadáa ni ojú ẹ̀ máa kàn rẹ lọ́wọ́ ṣé kò sí. wo gbogbo ẹ̀ kàn dàbí nǹkan oje mo ronú bí mo ṣe máa lọ sọ́jà láti lọ ra nǹkan tí mo nílò ní ilé nìjàre ó sì ń dààmú ọkàn mi lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
ṣoṣo tí ìgbọ̀n pa food locker ni ibì kan ṣoṣo tí o ti lè ra gbogbo tẹnu jẹ lóríṣiríṣi lọ́wọ́ tí ò ga jara lọ. ṣoṣo fẹ́ gbọ́ food locker máa gbé gbogbo ẹ̀ wá báyìí níbikíbi tó bá wà ìwọ ṣáà ti lọ sórí www.foodlocker.com.ng tọ́ka sí ohun gbogbo tó bá fẹ́ láì fàkókò ṣòfò wọ́n á sì gbé wá báyìí o lè rí àwọn oúnjẹ bíi iṣu gàrí ẹran èdè ẹ̀fọ́ adìyẹ èso kódà wọ́n tún ta ògì pẹ̀lú àti àwọn ohun èlò oúnjẹ ilẹ̀ òkèèrè. Wò ó ṣára ẹ̀ kàn sí wọn lórí www.foodlocker.com.ng kó ra gbogbo nǹkan nírọ̀rùn.
Olú ilé-iṣẹ́ wọn wà ní Ìbàdàn. Wọ́n sì tún lè fi ṣọwọ́ sí yín níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà.
Kódà o lè lọ sórí Google Play Store láti gba app wọ sórí ẹ̀rọ alágbèéká.
Ìròyìn ayọ̀ gbà lèyí o. Ó ṣí ọ̀rẹ́ mi, okú àgbálẹ̀ mi. www.foodlocker.com.ng ní ìdáhùn ìbéèrè mi.
Fún àlàyé síwájú sí, ẹ pè Foodlocker sórí 0903-178-7037. Foodlocker, ra gbogbo oúnjẹ lójú kan, ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, it's still talking points on Splash FM this Thursday afternoon. It is the 11th day in the month of March 2021. We're talking about the farmers' herders crisis and the professional perspectives to solutions. But you see, you have to analyze first before you go to solution. Let me play this audio and then I'll come back. One of those farmers with whom I engaged had quite a number of things to say on this matter. I want you to listen to him and then we'll come back to just the other things. Listen now.
This the same question yìí wọn ò tí address ẹ̀ rí kò sì síbi tí wọ́n ti gbé dìde tí wọ́n sọ tí ẹnìkan nú àwọn tó jẹ́ agbófinró wa dá wọn lẹ́kùn wípé ẹ má sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ eléyìí ló fà á tó fi ṣe wípé títí di àkókò yìí tí a bá tí ìwà solution sí wípé kí wọ́n sọ wípé àmàlú ò lè wà kó má jẹ oko àti ìrí ọ̀nà àbáyọ. Èkejì òun náà ni wípé ní gbogbo ìgbà tí àwọn agbófinró tàbí àwọn ìjọba wa bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n máa sọ wípé wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ lórí bí inflow àwọn tó jẹ́ darandaran wọ̀nyí bí wọ́n ṣe ń wọlé ṣùgbọ́n síbẹ̀ kò sí ìgbésẹ̀ kan pàtàkì tó dá wọn lẹ́kun torí pé ní 2014 tí a rí wípé àwọn èèyàn yìí tí wọ́n pọ̀ lágbègbè wa àwa gbégbésẹ̀ tó ṣe wípé a kọ̀wé sí gbogbo àwọn tí ọ̀rọ̀ kàn lára àwọn ìwé yẹn náà rí a copy the executive governor of Oyo State the commissioner of police Ìbàràpá East local government àwọn tó jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọba tó wà nípa kíní ìdí onítàbọ̀ ìtàbọ̀nà látẹ̀ the director state security service and the GOC second Makanas division tí wọ́n yìí sì dọ́dọ̀ wọn lórí wípé gbogbo àwọn tó ń wọlé yìí wọ́n ń pọ̀ jù táwọn kan sì wá tó yẹ pé wọ́n pọ̀ lákòókò yẹn tí wọ́n tẹ̀dó sí agbègbè wa series of letter lakọ tó sì ń dé ọ̀dọ̀ gbogbo àwọn tí ó jẹ́ èèyàn wọ̀nyí ohun táwa ń fẹ́ náà ni wípé one kí gbogbo àwọn tó ń wọlé yìí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ wá ọ̀nà débi wípé tó bá ṣe wípé wọ́n ti pọ̀ ju àwa tá a jẹ́ àgbẹ̀ gan lọ lórí ilẹ̀ lágbègbè tiwa tí wọ́n bá wá mọ nǹkan tí wọ́n lè ṣe sí two òun náà ní pé àwọn ìjọba àwọn ni wọ́n sọ wípé tó àwọn fún wọn ní grazing yard ní Ìbàràpá bí wọ́n ti mọ̀ wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni oúnjẹ ti ń wá àwọn náà ni wọ́n láwọn ṣe anti-grazing law ìbéèrè ìgbì náà kọ́kọ́ fún ìjọba ni pé ṣé anti-grazing law ń sìn ṣé ó ti cancel grazing yard tí wọ́n fi sílẹ̀ níbẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan wọ̀nyẹn afẹ́ kí wọ́n bá wa mú kúrò kí a sì rí wípé èyàn ni ó lè ṣe kíni ni ó lè fún wa nírọ̀rùn láti pèsè oúnjẹ bó ṣe tọ́. Orúkọ mi ni Mámúyì lọ Lájíire kókó ohun tó ń fa.
All right, you heard that man there is a farmer. Two basic questions that he asked. He said that we are yet to find a solution to open grazing. Of course, although we have laws, just like we were saying before the break, you see, these people, these herdsmen, I saw a story in the newspapers. These herdsmen are insisting on the grazing routes. Because just like he has been saying, apart from the fact that we are not checking the influx of people into the country properly, he made reference to the fact that even the Antiopen grazing law has been impotent. And one big question for me is if you are not answering the question of the alternative, then and you are saying people should not, so if you are saying don't dump refuse here, and you are not providing a place to dump refuse, you are just traveling the same cycle and you are deceiving yourself. That's the way it sounds to me. Listen to this one. This is the Vanguard newspaper of March the 8th. And the story is headlined, Ban on Open Grazing. Southwest Governors, YCE, Bekoya blast Mieti Allah. Why are they blasting Mieti Allah? Because Mieti Allah is insisting on the fact that you cannot stop us from grazing, and that's the story I'm looking at here. So governors can't ban open grazing, says Mieti Allah. Okay, so let me read the story. This one is in the Punch. It says, Mieti Allah Kautal Hore, factional umbrella body for herdsmen in the country, has said it is opposed to the ban imposed on open grazing of cattle by Southwest governors. It said the enforcement of the ban was tantamount to an eviction notice. So that's one. This is, however, against the position of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, which at a meeting with some governors in Akure, the Ondo State capital, on January the 25th, said it agreed with the position of the governors. You remember that meeting where the governors and these people agreed that there will be no open grazing